It's Ken with MrTruck.com bringing you some more really cool accessories for your truck and your trailer. Now today we're talking about Centramatics. I've been using these for decades. They've been around for like 40, 50 years and they're really big in the semi industry. You look at any fuel station while you're going by and you'll probably see some. You'll see the little silver pieces behind those wheels on those semis. Very popular. That's because what they do for them. And I like them on trailers and pickup trucks. But they can give you 25 to 50% longer tire life, which is a big deal. They eliminate cupping on your front axle. They eliminate the vibration. That's one big thing that I'm into today, is because this trailer, like most of my trailers, if they start off with a 12-ply tire, I go to 14-ply. If they start off with an 8-ply, I go to 10-ply. If there's 6, I go to 8. Because that bigger, thicker tire will last you longer, have less problems, and they have less flats. Then I use Tucson tire pressure monitoring, so I know what the heat and the temperatures of every trailer tire I have. So Centramatics is another way to get longer life out of your tires. And these tires are expensive, especially these 14-ply. They're all expensive. And I use them on my trucks. I use them on basically everything. But these here are the 14 plies, and what happens when you're driving along and like I get a new truck every week, so I have to keep adjusting the brake controller, and sometimes when you're empty you'll hit the brakes and it'll lock up the tires and smoke, and it leaves a little spot on the tire. Well, of course that's going to make the tire out of balance. So I'm going to try these Centramatics and see how much vibration they take out of it, because I know what it does now, and we'll see if they've improved that. I know they'll give you longer tire life. And see, I'll show you in the BBs what they look like. They're little stainless steel BBs, and they run synthetic fluid. So this bottle has the actual BBs and the synthetic fluid in it. I don't know if you can see them or not. Sometimes the light has to be just perfect to see them. But they're little stainless steel BBs, and they'll rotate in that fluid, and that they go into the circle, go into that Centramatic orbit, and that's what makes these work. And they'll find all the places that your tire's not balanced or out of whack, or your bearings, just kind of group around the part that needs the most help, and they'll fix it all by itself. Onboard automatic balancing. Your tires, your wheels, your brakes, your bearings. It's fantastic. And that's the magic that makes them happen. This is a semi-Centramatic. It goes on a steer axle in the front. Ones are flat and go on the back. I want to show you, this is a cutout, and there, if you can see them, there's the BBs. They're glued in there just for purposes of showing you and demonstrating how this works. But that's what's inside the tube. All those little BBs run around that synthetic fluid. These, of course, can't move because they're glued in there. I want to just show you how that works, and that's what's inside that outside ring. Pretty cool. You can see these front ones for semi are pretty big. Made for the deep dish, and they're flat for the steer or for the driver axle, so they fit between them. And they balance the snow, the mud, all of that. So cool. But what they do is when your tire spins, after you go up 15 miles an hour, it goes in a rotation like an orbit around the earth. But that's the Centramatic force. It pulls them to the outside, and they will find all the imperfections in your tire where it's out of balance, and they'll fill that in. Now, if the tires, that's one thing, when you get new tires, I suggest go ahead and let them spin and balance them, because that way you'll know if you got an out-around tire or a bent wheel, and you need to know that, because those things it can't fix. But Centramatics can fix just about everything else, because in that same orbit that they're traveling, it'll also balance your brakes, your bearings, your tire, your wheel, all that. It's really cool on dualies on trucks. You go between the duals, and if where we're at out here in the mud and the snow and the sand, it'll balance that mud and the snow between your duals. And then when the mud flies off, it balances them again. It continuously balances your tires. You can't beat that. Now, I've heard some of these ding-dong tire trailer or these tire stores, and I like a lot of them, and a lot of them I don't like. They'll try to tell you don't need to balance a tire. Well, what planet did they come from? If it's round, if it rolls on a road, it needs balanced. Every tire needs balanced. And your trailer tires are the things that kind of get left behind. But we're going to put these balancers on here and show you a few things with them. Now this has 8-bolt, 7,000-pound axles, and so they're 9/16 bolts. We also have them in 5/8, because some of the 8,000-pound axles are a 5/8 stud. We can do all that stuff. And we make them for, you know, smaller ones, the 5 bolts, 6 bolts, 8 bolts. It's really awesome. And these have been around for a long time. They got a 5-year warranty. And I'm going to show you. I already took the nuts off of this one. See, I didn't even grunt when I pulled that off. Those are heavy tires. But see, these balancers, you know, and I've got 4 of them here. They come in a set of 4, so they're pretty good value. I slapped them on there, and these are A's, so they're all made one direction. And these studs are outside. All you do is slide them on. And they fit perfectly there, and you got room between the drum and the balancer. Then I'm just going to slap that wheel back on. Now that I might grunt for. But that's my goal, is to get the vibration out of the tires. Jeepers, I should have an assistant doing this. Where is Izzy? I wonder if she can lift these tires up and on there. I did it. Yeah, I knew I could do it if I lived long enough. And we'll zip these back on here with the impact and torque them to the right spec. But that's all you got to do, is put them puppies on there and go. So I'm just going to show you in a while. I'll put the rest of them on in just a little bit. Then I'm going to take the trailer down the road, see how it works, see if there's a reduction in vibration. But they're really cool. There's nothing to them. Well, there is something to them. You got aluminum and you got stainless steel, you got galvanized ring, and the rest of it's aluminum. So they're not going to deteriorate. It's got stainless steel BBs, and they're in synthetic fluid. And you can hear that thing. That's the BBs, if you hear that. That's what it sounds like. And you'll only hear that until you get up to about 10, 15 miles an hour. Then they go into orbit and they do their work. But yeah, I've been using these for years. And now I'm going to fix this trailer, get some of those flat spot vibrations out of it. And we'll see how that works. But they're well worth the money. I mean, this is a set of 4 or less than $200. But I like them, 5-year warranty. You need to try some. And I really recommend them for everything you have. But I think trailers is the missing link that people avoid or they don't pay attention to. And I want them on my trailer tires, which is what I'm doing right now. Another thing, I'm sure you've noticed this, I have the tires up on my ramps. These are the ramps I use to change oil and all that. And I have one I leave in the trailer for changing tires. This one has torsion axles. A lot of times they'll work for leaf springs, but I drive them up on both ramps so the front tire's off the ground. Then I'll do the same thing. I'll put them in the front and lift the back end off the ground. That's a real good way to jack it up instead of going out there and cranking it up, get all your jacks out. But two, what's cool about this is like when this has those easy lube bearings, they're Dexters. You pull that little nipple out of the middle, get your grease gun out there, and you crank it about 4 times while you spin the tire. And that shoots grease into both the inner and outer bearings, or, you know, the 2 bearings that are in there. And I really like that system. And then I've got self-adjusting brakes. Some people like them, some don't. I like them. They're not for everybody. But, yeah, I got a lot of miles on this trailer. And I'm hooked up, you know, every week to a trailer. So I need all the help I can get. I'm a longer tire life. And because, you know, these are $200 tires. These 14-ply 16s. And, you know, you get into the bigger ones, they cost more. But yeah, get these for your trailer. I'm going to show you a few other things. But I get thumbs up. I think these are a great invention. They've been around for a long time. You may or may not have heard of them. But ask if somebody's an owner-operator with a semi-truck, you ask them about them, and they'll tell you all about how much they save and how much they like them. They're very good, and you can order them on MrTruck.com or store.MrTruck.com. We've got them all over my websites, MrTruck.com, MrTrailer.com. So, either one, all those .coms and Mr. Truck and Mr. Trailer, and we'll make you a deal and get them shipped out. 5-year warranty on workmanship. If they didn't put them together right, then you can get them replaced. But they do. They last on semis. You know, they last 1 million, 2 million miles, and some semi-operators will just change them out every 1 million miles. I have hardly ever had a problem with them. Once in a while, you get something happen to it, and you get a cracked tube, and you might leak a little oil. Then you just get another one. So, anyway, they are awesome. So that's this week's review.
Don't go away, MrTruck.tv. We'll be right back.
Now these special lug nuts I have grease zerks on them. And I could do that, but I also like to use, I used to use WD-40. And now I use the silicone spray because it doesn't get as dirty. It doesn't collect dirt like WD-40 does. I really like the silicone sprays. That's what they used to just call it. It was a silicone lubricating spray. Now they call it slide out oil, something to do with RVs. A good old Harbor Freight impact. Of course, you can do rotational tightening. If I get a chance, I'm going to also torque these wheels. Yes, indeed, I'm going to torque these nuts. There it is, my shovel. Works really good. And that is all I did to put that shovel under the tire and just lift up. I've used bars and all that. Shovel's nice because it's nice and wide. So now I've got a new plan for changing these wheels out and putting Centramatic balancers on them. Okay. Mr. Truck again, still finishing up on the Centramatic review on my trailer here. This is a 22-foot load trail, tilt trailer. Use this every week hauling something around. And we just put the 4 Centramatics on my 14-ply, almost wore-out tires. They're not quite wore out. But because of all the times I've traded with different trucks to tow with each week and have to dial in those brakes, sometimes we smoke those brakes. So, you know, it's wearing out the tires more than it should, and 14-ply can go a long ways on these puppies. So, I didn't take a video before and after because I know how badly it shakes. So that's what I'm doing now, is trying to do an after video See if I can feel a difference in my butt dynos, if there's any difference at all with these on there. This is 76 going east of Denver, and there's places where it's awfully rough out by Roggen. Something wrong with the concrete out there, and it's rough. So see if I can get that far. And if you can tell a difference before my camera falls off. I hope it doesn't. I got it on tight. I've got those bigger rig or little rig clamps that I use. They're very, very good. So hopefully they won't do me wrong this time. But we'll see. Out here with the big boys, cruising. I've got my tire pressure monitor on here from Tucson, so I can see what's going on. Yeah, it's charging at 13.2 volts. Yeah, I've got this Tucson tire pressure monitors valve stems. You replace the whole valve stem, has a sensor inside, just like new trucks and cars have. Actually, the same company makes them all, or both. So, I just want to get a little bit of video, show you a little video of what the tires look like. And I know these were out, the wheels weren't bent, but the tires I'm sure were somewhat out of round, because I've smoked them a few times, dialing in the brake controller, and you know, you go between loaded trailer and empty trailer, there's a little bit of difference. You got to keep compensating for it. These were proportional brakes and brake controller for Ford. I'll have to put my Tucson back on here and test that sometime this year. But yeah, it's smoothed it out quite a bit. This road can be bad. We'll get up here by Roggen, where it's really bad, and I'll talk to you then. See what you think. Actually, just past Kingsburg, the roads start getting really rough, but it doesn't bounce like it used to. So it's not that hard to get a tire out around. That's when you first buy them, a new tire. You always want to spin bounce them to make sure you don't have a bent rim or an out around tire. But you know, I've got enough burn spots in these tires; they're kind of getting crazy. So it tamed down quite a bit, but you know, Centramatic average to get you 25 to 50% longer tire life. That's why they're so popular with the 18 wheelers. It's a lot of money when you're buying 18, 22 tires at a time. And I just worry about the 4 on my truck and the 4 on my trailer. And I know these 14-ply tires are over $200 a piece. Yep, I've been using Centramatics for decades, and they really do the job. Take the vibration out, and they balance the tires, the wheels, the brakes, the bearings. It's so awesome, all the work they do. Get that longer tire life, and you know, everything else works better. If I had stick shift, you can feel it just in the stick shift on the manual transmission. But it's hard to get a stick shift. I think I got 1 out of the 4 trucks I have. When I get it out of the shop, I'll have to try it out. But anyway, yeah, these Centramatics, they're certainly worth the money. I mean, ask any over-the-road semi guys, especially the owner-operators, if they've heard of Centramatics, and they'll tell you all about how much money they save you. So, thumbs up, man.